Hi, we're the audience.
Alright, so as was forementioned, with teaching, I feel like many teachers do not engage their students like they should. Many go off on tangents and just are not able to really engross their students in the subject they're teaching because they themselves do not feel passionate about it. So I have a few solutions that teachers could use to be able to entertain their students a little bit more. So the first one is to just know who your audience is. Just like in speaking, it's important to know who you're speaking to. So just like with your students, you need to know what their strengths and weaknesses are on a certain topic. So it's always good to know and be able to read their body language and just any question looks on their face. So if you notice these things, you're able to ask if there's something that you can re-clarify, or if there's something that you can be able to go over a couple times more in different ways so they're able to get it. So it's really good to know who you're teaching to. If it's the brightest student or maybe not so bright, you have to teach to the wide audience. You can't teach to just a single person. It's also important with this in mind to be able to teach multiple different ways. Just like I said, you're not teaching to one student, you're teaching to many. So each student potentially learns a different way. So if you're teaching on a topic and the way that you're doing it doesn't seem to be getting across to all the other students, maybe find where the issue is at, try and pinpoint a specific part and see if it's just one little topic that needs clarification or if it's the concept of a whole. If that's the case, try and come at it with a different approach and see if there's something else that needs to be done, if there's an easier way that you can be done, and see even if your students have a different way to be able to teach you this, because as a teacher, it's also very important to keep learning. Just because you are the teacher as the profession doesn't mean that you can't learn a new trick to teach your students with, because I feel like it's much easier to be in a class if the teacher is also able and willing to learn. The last part that I would like to go over is to be an agreeable teacher. Upon doing a survey, I've learned a lot of students, if the teacher is not passionate about their subject and reads off of a slideshow and doesn't put forth any of their own information, you can lose the audience very quickly. I myself am in a class like that where the teacher only reads off of a PowerPoint, very monotone, very easy to lose track. The subject would have been very interesting to me if the teacher had put forth her own love and passion for the subject. So I think that's very important for teachers to be able to know the material that they're teaching on, to be able to get the students to enjoy that subject, because presumably if you are teaching that subject, you had some sort of love for it when you were in college, which is why you wanted to be able to teach it to others. So it's very important to be agreeable and be understanding of all students and where they're coming from, because at one point you were also a student, so you know what it's like to have those teachers, and you know what it's like to have the good teachers and the bad teachers, and what you liked and what you didn't like. So be able to give demonstrations, have your time available for one-on-one if any students need that additional help. That's always good. And just take it one step at a time. Don't rush through too many things. Never think that a student should already know this topic, because that's entirely out of the concept to assume a student should have this by now, because like I've aforementioned, every student is different. So with these 3 topics in mind, we will be moving on. Thank you so much.
In the audience.
Good.
Audience.
Very good.
Yay!